Welcome to Nerd Positive. This is the Facebook and YouTube live podcast show that celebrates all the things that we feel are awesome in hopes of spreading our fandom to you. After the live show airs, you can find the show on Spotify, Apple, and anywhere you find your audio podcasts. In the show, we dive deep in the hearts of fandoms.
Unlike Dirty Dom Mysterio, who apparently never went deep enough.
Ooh, well played. Well played. You can't put the episode in the intro, or maybe you can. Oh man, yeah, I can't beat that. I'm the self-proclaimed Emperor of Awesome, and with me I have the unverified twin of one Dave Bautista in the head wrinkles, the unverified twin of Dwayne The Rock Johnson in the eyebrows, the unverified twin of Carl Weathers in the mustache,
the flavor saver,
woo-hoo, and the unverified twin of Shamar Moore in the nipples.
Yes, sir.
Boom. What's going on, man?
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Nerd Positive Podcast, the only pandemic you want to participate in. And my name this week is Brian S. Dennis, where the S stands for Jacinto, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit. Welcome, podcast partner. How are you doing, my friend?
Man, I am doing pretty good. It's been a good weekend. A little bit slower at work. Things are quieting down a little bit, so that's kind of nice.
Summer's coming to an end.
Summer's coming in. School is back in session, and so gonna take a little bit of adjusting, but hey, that's okay.
All right.
I watched a really I watched The Crow. We'll get into it in a minute.
The Brandon Lee Les Crow.
Yes. I did do a lunch break review of it, and I put it up today for my weekly review. And I will say this: there was more positive reviews than negative reviews for it.
Okay. All right.
Do I agree with that? No. But yeah, we'll get into it when we're talking about our favorites of the week. And
gotcha.
Brian, let's get right into it. What are your favorites?
All right, so I'm going to talk about my favorites of TV and movies for this week. So first off, for television, because we're at that time of the year that we're some network things are relaunching, but a lot of streaming services are kind of maybe in that middle of their content. However, we're getting the new season of Tulsa King is joining us here really soon. We've got the next season of Rings of Power. But for me, what I've been doing, I've been binging some things that I really liked back in the day and refining them. So Criminal Minds is one of them. And then Bradley, have you watched Warehouse 13?
I love Warehouse 13, man.
I have gotten back into it, and it has held up so well, so very, very well.
Man, Sci-Fi had it, man. Warehouse 13, Eureka. What was there was another one too, right in there, in that vein as well.
There were quite a few of them, and it was just, I guess, a great show for anybody that liked the X. I was talking to a friend of mine about this yesterday. For anyone that likes the X-Files, it has that X-Files. Mm-hmm. I describe it, if X-Files and Moonlighting had a baby, you have Warehouse 13. So you have that government conspiracy, secret agent thing going on that we all liked about the X-Files. The truth is out there, but it does not take itself as seriously as the X-Files did. There's a lot of wink, nudge to the crowd. And then the two agents have that will they, won't that vibe to them, as well as I've been rewatching another one. And so you can stream Warehouse 13 on Prime. And another one I've been really getting back into is Scorpion. Talk about a show that was gone far too soon. In fact, I was reading up on Scorpion. The year that Scorpion got canceled, it was in the top 20 in ratings. It was a complete shock of why the show was canceled. It was an expensive show to do. traveled to a lot of locales. Yeah, it was a heavy show to write because of all the science. Similar to back in the day when they did MacGyver, at least the original MacGyver, that scripts take a while because you really have to dig deep into the science of it. But there's just that piece of it. But I love rewatching it. So it was only 4 seasons of Scorpion, 5 seasons of Warehouse 13. If you're looking for a cool, two good shows you can stream, they hold up over time. Definitely check out both of those. And of course, when you talk about Scorpion, you have Cabe Callow, who was played by the sequel in Terminator. So I love to call Scorpion hyphen Judgment Day. All right, sir. And then
Nice.
my movie of the week. Netflix suggested it, and thank you, Netflix. You did not let me down. That's a really good movie to watch. I dug it, which is The Union, starring our boy Mark Wahlberg and my wife, Halle Berry. Really good movie. Have you had a chance to check it out?
I haven't, man. I was gonna do that, but then I watched The Killer on Peacock, and this morning, and I really enjoyed The Killer. So
yeah, so The Union strikes similar to any of those. Again, secret agent conspiracy. We're gonna train someone to become the world's greatest secret agent, Kingsman, that type of deal. Has a really, really awesome cast. I was pulling up some of the names that I'm sure you'll recognize. Obviously, they lead with Mark Wahlberg and Halle Berry, but Michael Coulter is in it. Jackie Earl Haley, if you enjoyed the Watchmen movie, he played blanking on his name real quick. Rorschach, and our boy J.K. Simmons is kind of the team leader. So again, if you've enjoyed any iterations of Perry White, J.K. excuse me,
J.
J.
Jonah
Jonah
Jameson,
Jameson, yes, you got to dig that. So that takes on a tangent. Who do
or
you
Omni
think?
Man,
Yeah, or Omni Man, yes.
or now Santa Claus too.
Facts.
Yeah.
He also, and I'm blanking on the name of the show real quick, but he was in a great show that's on Stars, and I think the pandemic kind of killed it. But he basically played a character that was in two different realities. In one reality, he's kind of a laid back family man. In another reality, he again is a secret agent, and they actually wound up meeting.
Interesting.
And it's a really good show. Again, it was on Stars. I'll find the name of it. It was great. The first season was fantastic. Season 2 was when, unfortunately, COVID hit the country. So I think it interrupted some of the filming. I think it may have gotten a third season, but barely. Kind of eked away along. But a really good show. I'm a big fan of J.K. Simmons with that. So I would definitely give Warehouse 13 a re-binge. And when you get them in, check out similar, we talked about some shows, especially when they're Netflix movies. There's something in the plot you can see coming a mile away. Still does not take away the injury. It's a good popcorn movie. It's a good movie with good action sequences. Mark Wahlberg's in his thing if he gets to throw people around and show off the muscles. Halle Berry she plays a very similar character to what she did in John Wick Chapter 2, being kind of the recruiter. And she still is Halle Berry. And J.K. Simmons, again, they play to their strengths, that kind of curmudgeon secret agent governmental operative that is gristle but also got your back. So he if this movie would have been made in the 80s, he would have been a police captain. That would have been yelling he's too old for this, right? So he'd have been that guy. So again, check out The Union, sir. What about you? What are you gonna make your list this week, my friend?
Dude, have you watched Bad Monkey yet on Apple?
A couple seasons, yes.
I love it. Dude, it's fantastic, man. It had me when they pulled the arm that was flipping us all off. It had me hook, line, and sinker.
Nice.
Pun intended.
Nice.
Pun intended.
Nice.
Other than that, man, that's really about. We've been watching Fire Country. We watched Fire Country.
Fire Country. Love Fire Country.
Man, I never watched it, so we're
so good.
Halfway through season 1 right now.
So good.
I have some complaints with it. There's some of these episodes are very, very far-fetched,
They're far-fetched, and it gets a little to the soap opera. I mean, the demographic's probably a little younger than you and I.
Yeah.
So, it pulls into there with Bodie. Also, I really want a crossover because so many of the actors in Fire Country did cameos or small roles in 911 that I really want there to be some type of overlap between Fire Country and 911, but
Yeah.
that probably won't happen. But I
Yeah.
really, again, the fan casting, kind of like we got when we got Warehouse 13 and Eureka had that one crossover episode. I really want a crossover episode between 911 and Fire Country. We probably won't ever get there on competing networks, but I really do like Fire Country. It's really good.
Yep. And then I've been trying to get some more comics ready because I have such a big stack of stuff I haven't got to. So I've been getting caught up on Batman. So I did read up the last couple issues of Batman, and then I got Nightwing. I got to catch up on, and the Tom Taylor's penultimate issue just came out this last week for this Grayson. We are going to be seeing Bruce Wayne as Nightwing coming up very, very soon.
Nice.
So Bruce Wayne is going to be picking up the mantle of Nightwing in Bloodhaven because Dick Grayson has gone missing. And that's fucking awesome. That is freaking awesome, man.
Okay, so that pulls me into a tangent. We should really talk about these at a future show. Maybe the best sidekicks. The sidekicks made the transition to their own independent, deals. So when you've got of all the sidekicks, we've had various Kid Flash that have taken the mantle of Flash. We've had Speedy to Red Arrow, and obviously we've had Robin to Red Robin, and Robin, the OG Robin, to Nightwing, and Wonder Girls to Wonder Woman. To you, just real quick, and I bet I know you go. I know your love of, and you and I love a lot of the same thing, but you and I very sometimes go. I love Star Trek a little more than you do. You love Star Wars a bit more than I do. The one that we both really come down with equal amount of love, I think, is Nightwing. Yeah. So, do you think Dick Grayson to Nightwing is the best transition from sidekick to hero?
Yes, I think Dick Grayson is the greatest comic book character, or I don't want to say greatest, but the most developed comic book character that has ever been created. I mean, and to the point that he's Bruce Wayne's brother. I mean, they're brothers. Bruce Wayne and Dick Grayson are brothers. They're not father-son.
They did that a little bit, but especially once Damien came along, very much it's big brother, little brother. Absolutely.
Yeah, and when they made the decision to make Dick Grayson, they developed him to be in his own character, Nightwing. They developed him to pick up the mantle of the Batman, which he should. I mean, obviously.
Right.
And then to have Damian Wayne be his Robin was just one of the smartest things that DC has ever done. And DC's done a lot of dumb things, mainly because they don't talk to us.
Right.
They don't talk to Nerd Positive.
Right. But what DC has done well is they have, of all the kind of beetle-headed things they can do, and Marvel's done a few of them as well. Yeah. But they have always gotten the Batman, meaning Bruce Wayne, and Robin, meaning Dick Grayson, dynamic really well. That if you're raised by, and let's be honest, and anyone that knows, everybody knows Batman's my favorite character of all time. Understand, and we've talked about this before in the show, Batman is who he really is. Bruce Wayne is the costume. Bruce Wayne is the alter ego. Yeah. He is Batman. He's just Batman without a mask. He's Batman without the cowl, right? Yeah. So if you're raised by Batman, that is not going to be a functional paternal relationship, right? So as much as he and the other heroes, you hear Wonder Woman, any member of the Justice League, they really talk about, you're the heir apparent, but do you want to be, right? And and he has those great conflicting feelings about inheriting the mantle of being the Bat, right? And also, I got to give Dick Grayson this: Zatanna, Starfire, Batgirl. My guy's roster is unparalleled. Yes, it's unparalleled. So my last question to you, and we got to really do. I'm really sorry, we got to do a Robin episode. We really do. Yeah. Is there's only been two significant three, I guess. There's been three significant live action versions of Robin. So you've got Burt Ward, you have Chris O'Donnell, and then who played him in Dark Knight Rises?
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah, I can see Joseph Gordon, who's a great actor.
Not by name, but he was Robin.
Yeah, he was Robin. Like, if you've seen the movie, spoiler alert, he's flipping Robin. Okay,
right.
So, and should have been, if they would have done a fourth movie, would have been Nightwing or Batman. Would have not have been Robin, right? So, of those Robin-esque live action versions, who is your favorite? Burt Ward, Chris O'Donnell, or Joseph Gordon-Levitt, aka Cobra Commander?
Right. Holy Robin's Batman? It's got to be Burt Ward.
Have you ever seen any interviews with Burt Ward as a grown? Well, he was a grown man when the show was on.
Yeah.
But any of those like 90s era interviews with Burt Ward, the best is, so Adam West was married during the majority of his Batman fandom, and then later on after the show was over. Burt Ward was single. And Burt Ward has said that on many occasions, when you're a grown man wearing basically the booties and the short shorts, the only thing that made it worth it, other than the money, was that Robin pulled so well.
Yeah.
Because he goes in the 60s, you could have that kitschy, over the top part. I think it was 66 when the show debuted. But yeah, Burt Ward talks a lot about how much he enjoyed, for very adult reasons, being Robin. So and again, a lot of things and I think that may be, and this may be another for a future show. But real quick, Brad, and then we'll move on to our topic. Between Marvel and DC, let's focus on the big ones. Who do you think, male or female, or intergender identity, who do you think was the biggest pimp, the biggest player, the biggest lover, boy, person, human, or maybe not human? Who do you think had the most Casanova-esque qualities in comics?
I got an answer for Marvel and DC. Marvel is going to be Tony Stark.
Facts.
Tony Stark easily, because they built that into his character. And
if you love the movies, don't get it twisted. Tony Stark and Black Widow had a big thing. So
they did.
They don't talk about it in the movie, but that was a thing. Okay, but please go ahead, sir. So we got Tony Stark on Marvel.
Yeah, DC is gonna be Dick Grayson, but not. But he's not. I wouldn't count him as a player.
Okay.
I would count him as a ladies' man. I don't think he's going into the relationship. He's everybody wants him and everything like that. And he's the best looking guy in all of DC.
Sure.
Yeah, we'll play it that way. I don't think
Titans did a good job of showing what do.
Yeah,
you're rich because your dad, older brother is a billionaire. You got to be in great shape and be handsome because of all the things. You obviously, and he has better social skills than Bruce Wayne does. When Bruce is being authentic, again, Bruce defaults to Batman versus Dick Grayson. He is Dick Grayson. Like, for him, they are two different personas versus, Batman, he puts on the face of Bruce Wayne. He is Batman.
Yeah.
So with that being said, my last question is, so in my opinion, his top three would be, in no particular order, Starfire, Barbara Gordon, aka Batgirl, and then Zatanna. If you, Bradley Buchanan, were Nightwing, and maybe you are, who would be your rank order if you were Dick Grayson? So 3-1. So lowest to highest: Starfire, Batgirl, and Zatanna. Whatever order would be for you. And I bet I know who your number one is, but let's do it.
Number one is going to be Zatanna.
Okay, time out. Starfire comics version, not Cartoon Network version. Please continue.
Yeah, right. And I think Babs got to be number two, and then I'm going to have to go Starfire, just because the crazy. But yeah, Zatanna obviously number one. Okay. I like magic tricks. I like the fishnets.
Dude, I was gonna say the fishnets don't hurt. The fishnets don't hurt.
I got a thing for brunettes.
Which shows you, and anybody pushes back on it is a fair point. But it shows you that these comics historically were written and drawn for boys and men. Yeah. Because nothing about Zatanna or Starfire's outfits have any practical benefit in a fight. You could say that for Batgirl. She at least has a full costume and utility belt and all the accoutrement. Nothing in Starfire's wardrobe and nothing in Zatanna's wardrobe make any sense whatsoever. But I can tell you, 11-year-old Brian Dennis picking up Teen Titans, I was like, I like this. I don't even know why I like this, but I like it. My dad told me on the way back from the comic book store why I liked it so much, and that made sense.
Yeah.
So then he also said, "Can I borrow this?" No. It's mine. And Bradley, coincidentally, that was the day that I learned about things.
Yeah.
Bed. All right, my friend. Let's kick it, bro. What are we talking about this week?
Well, let me talk. I got to talk about The Crow just a minute.
Oh, shoot. My fault. Go for it.
You're good. You're good. So I went and watched The Crow.
Okay.
And here are my thoughts on The Crow. It obviously is not the 1994 Crow movie. We know this. I know that what they were going for, they swung and they missed. The new Crow movie, it does have some decent things. They chose to make a deeper Shelley and a less deep Eric Draven. They leaned into the supernatural. They introduced a supernatural villain, but didn't really explain it how it was supernatural.
Is he connected to the origin of the Crow,
the
supernatural villain?
Not that they said.
Is this okay? And I don't, because I am going to watch it. You say I can wait till stream, and I will. But I am curious regarding I've also not read anything online. Is this a continuation of the Crow story, or is this an origin story? Question.
It's an origin. It's Eric Draven and Shelley. I mean, they're going back. They're telling it, and this. If they had this cast, the people that the actors are fine, they didn't have enough time to develop the story. They really didn't.
What's the runtime in a movie ballpark? What's the runtime?
Hour 30, hour 45.
You got to do 2 hours for an origin. That is something like The Crow. Yeah. You got to really develop that. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Well, in they didn't even in the 1994 movie, the soundtrack was seminal to the movie.
Facts.
The Crow. Was seminal to the movie.
By the way, let's give it up for Ernie Hudson.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Ernie, by the way, if you're hearing the podcast, and we know you are, come on the show anytime. But please continue, my brother.
Yes. To me, in this Crow movie, the actual bird, did not feel like it was part of the movie.
Really?
It was just a plot.
That again, from the fan perspective, that's so important is the Crow, because that's so part of the mythos and the power and why he can do what he does is the Crow. But again, please continue.
Yeah, I mean, in the 90s, in the 94, you felt Eric Draven, Brandon Lee's tortured soul. You felt it. I mean, it was
right.
That's part of what made the movie magical, right? They didn't give Bill Skarsgård a chance to do that. Now, I will say this. The action was great. I'm going to say the opera scene, the last 30, 40 minutes of the movie.
Okay.
Chef's kiss. Great.
Okay.
I wanted the entire movie that way. I wanted to see a tortured Eric Draven, about Shelley. And they didn't have a character in it to kind of balance out. Like in the original Crow, they had the Sarah character, the young girl.
Yeah.
They didn't have anything like that. It just felt like they had these characters, they put them together, and they had a bunch of stuff that didn't really need to be in the movie. This should have been a hard R show on Max.
Wait, what's the rating of it?
It's R. It's an R rated.
Okay.
Yeah. But this should have been a show. 100%. They should have been able. They should have.
I've always thought The Crow is better as a show. We talked about for Fantastic Four. We've seen movies, and given the depth of developing, 5 characters, meaning Fantastic Four plus Doom, and everything that again, The Crow is meant to be for all the supernatural. Also feels like supernatural. The show, meaning that it lends for itself to be a serial show. You can develop all the different relationships with that.
Yeah.
But as you talk about it, a couple things that popped in my head, a couple questions on it is, I'm going back to our tat when we think about this. Who would you prefer? Who do you think is more important to a story? The Crow and the Crow or Bubo in Clash of the Titans? The owl.
Mm, the Crow. The Crow, because that's where he's getting his
Okay.
powers from.
Okay. And then secondarily, which of these you think did a better job? Your boy Skarsgård as the Crow or Jared Leto as Joker in Suicide Squad?
Skarsgård is the Crow.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Leto as Joker? Like, are you a fan or not a fan?
I was the fan of Nightmare Joker in
Okay.
the Justice League Zack Snyder.
Sure.
I think that I think he was okay.
Okay.
I don't think he was great. I think they could have done better, but honestly, my opinion is they need to leave the Joker alone. We don't need the Joker in every iteration of the Batman.
At least hold back a little bit.
Yeah,
which I think is what the Snyder, not Snyder, I think it's what the Nolan movies did so well. Is number one, they kind of swerves a little bit. They said there will be no Joker. And I don't know if you remember, but that was the big thing. He goes, there will not be a Joker. Like, he goes, there won't be any Jokers because we're coming, I mean, not super long away. But Nicholson's Joker was so iconic. He was like, we're not going to have the Joker. And they start off with the Scarecrow. And I love the fact they start off with a smaller mid-tier member of Batman's Rose Gallery. But then obviously at the end of it, they have the playing card. And then they hired Heath Ledger, R.I.P. Still one of the best versions of this. And I think it's no shock that we've had two different actors playing that characters, both of which have won Academy Awards, Heath Ledger and our boy Joaquin Phoenix. So before we move forward, the rest of us, because I love our tangents, my friend, again, my favorite hero is Batman. My favorite villain is the Joker. Who is your favorite Joker? Are we going back to Sid Caesar? Cesar Romero? Are we going Ledger? Are we going Nicholson? Are we going Joaquin Phoenix? Are we going Mark Hamill? Like, who are we going?
Oh, Brian. I gotta go with a little bit of Mark Hamill here. Just the animated series is just amazing.
Okay.
But live action, it's Heath Ledger.
Heath
Ledger animated, it's gonna be Mark Hamill.
That's fair.
There's been some really good animated Jokers. Actually, Alan Tudyk does a really good animated Joker.
I agree.
Well.
I agree with you there. I agree with you. I'm a Batman snob, so I agree with you. I will give you that.
Oh, speaking of, so our Batman episode for the pandemic was 3 years ago.
It felt like it would have been about this time 3 years ago.
Yeah. I got the notification the other day. I meant to text you about it, but I don't think I did.
We need to do a Batman we got to go back into Batman. That's why we both love Batman so much. And hey, it gave us this podcast. For those of you that love this podcast, those of you that don't love this podcast, you can appreciate that. Was supposed to be a 1 hour. I think that day we talked without any planning, close to 2 hours. On Batman, and we have in it birth. Back then, Prevent the Nerds, now the Nerd Positive Podcast. And bro, it's been a fantastic 3 years.
Yeah,
all right,
awesome.
You ready to talk a little wrestling, my friend?
Let's do this thing.
All right. So what we're gonna do is WWE has a pay-per-view, or I'm sorry, a premium live event because they stream now on Peacock regarding their next big supercard, which is gonna come from Berlin, Germany. And it's called the Bash in Berlin. Right now, there are 5 matches announced. I think that's why we'll stay. We might get 1 or 2 others. But it's not to the level of like a WrestleMania or a SummerSlam. But I love the fact they're doing these international cards for no other reason than the crowds at the international card are so lit. They're when they did it in France, when they did it in Australia, the amount of WWE fans that are really just insanely ready. And they are hitting on all pistons, in all honesty. You heard me earlier mention Rhea Ripley and her promo on Dirty Dominik Mysterio and saying that, he never went deep enough. Just enough into the Attitude Era to go, you know what? This will work for the moms and dads, but the kids probably won't get the joke. But it's enough to keep things going. And by the way, my social media feed is in so many of people like, hey, we love us some Rhea Ripley, but Dominic Mysterio, you are the luckiest man in wrestling that you get pulled apart between Rhea Bloody Ripley and Liv Morgan. And if you've ever seen Dominic Mysterio's real life wife, my guy, look, you're doing well, sir. You're doing well.
Oh, we have a
I was
guest.
gonna say, do we have a cameo? All right. Do we have the popsicle or no?
Did you get the popsicle?
No, but I did get ice cold water.
Okay.
Fair.
All right.
Fair. Okay.
I have something I want this boy to do.
What's
and I hope he says yes.
Oh, okay. What's
Wait,
that?
hold up, time out. As a
something
dad,
I-
I am freaking out when my daughter tells me I have to think what this boy to do. Okay,
Right.
yeah. So I'm with you right here. I'm with you right here, bro.
Oh boy.
It's
Okay,
something-
princess, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
This is something I make him do if I win Uno No Mercy. Do you know
Okay.
what it is?
What is it?
Well, it's just me to do a shot of sour stuff. All right, fine. Here you go, Brian. This is all for you, buddy.
All right, let's
Go ahead, Leia. Gotta get ready for this. All right. Oh.
I've done the Hey Brad, I've done the I did the green version that is not that bad. The green is better.
Yeah.
So the pink looks a little accurate. The green is better. But I love me some sour stuff, so no hate. But all right. So okay. So Bradley,
what's it bye to Brian?
We're on the last episode of season 3 of One Tree Hill.
That's one hell of a goodbye. We're on the last episode of season 3 of One Tree Hill. All right, honey.
and
Bye-bye.
bye. Your crying shoulder. I'll be the that's from Dawson. And that's first of all, that's a dark ass song.
It really is.
I mean, and by the way, for anyone lists up in the comments, I know that's from Dawson's Creek, but that's still a dark ass song.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very dark song. And by the way, I don't because I've been binging Criminal Minds. James Vanderbeek does a arc in Criminal Minds as a serial killer. He plays a dark villain really, really well. Another person before we jump into the rest of this is our boy Leslie Nielsen, R.I.P. He's in a movie called Nuts, N-U-T-S. It's with Barbara Streisand and Richard Dreyfuss, where he plays a rapist. And he gives you the flipping creeps.
Wow,
so,
I've never seen it.
It's a great movie. I think she was nominated, maybe won an Academy Award for it. It's an extreme. It also is a good review of how we in this country back in the 80s, and not much different now, treated mental health. But definitely, it's a great watch. Leslie Nielsen plays again a rapist. That's a baby spoiler, but just how uncomfortable he makes you with literally touching a woman's shoulders. I remember as a kid watching going, ugh. Like he gives you the creeps really well. So if you're looking for, and it honestly, because it ends on a really positive note, it actually definitely not for the kids. But if you and the wife are looking for a movie, Nuts, N-U-T-S, Barbara Streisand, Richard Dreyfuss, Leslie Nielsen, late 80s, probably between 86 and 88. Check it out. It's a good watch. It's a good watch.
Perfect.
All right. Okay, let's jump into the bash in Belfast. I'm sorry, Berlin. I keep
Berlin. Yes,
it's Berlin. All right. Because Gunther's from Austria, I want to make it Belgium or Belfast, but we're doing Germany. So here we go. And I'm going by the card based on what the WWE is released. So here we go. So the first is Gunther versus Randy Orton for the WWE title, for the World Heavyweight Championship. Just a little caveat: if Orton wins, he goes to Raw, and so if Gunther loses, he will go to SmackDown. So, who do you think? I'm sorry, because I'm going to track who you think will win. Who do you want to win, Gunther or Orton?
Who do I want to win?
Yes, who do you want to win?
I want Orton to win.
Who do you? And that'll give him 15, which put him number 2 by time. By the way, I'm sorry, I got to say this out loud. One of the true, and I don't think it'll ever happen that he'll beat the record. But truthfully, one of the biggest things that shows the difference in how wrestling has evolved or devolved over the last 30, 40 years
Mhm.
is that John Cena is tied with Ric Flair for world titles.
Yeah.
As good, and you can say great as John Cena is, he does not even touch Ric Flair when it comes to how much a person means to the industry of pro wrestling. And they're tied, and some people call John Cena the GOAT. John Cena as first Flair is a heel historically. John Cena as a baby face is nowhere closer to GOAT. That's gotta. I know he's a problematic human being, but if you talk about his wrestling character, Hulk Hogan's the greatest baby face of all time. He really is.
Yeah.
Ric
Well,
Flair's the
John,
greatest heel of all time, but Cena is tied with Flair. If Orton was to win against Gunther, I'd put him number 2 behind Flair and Cena tied with Triple H. But please, sir, go ahead.
so well, John Cena says the GOAT of wrestling is actually Roman Reigns. Actually, just recently. So that's a good. But
1,316 days as champion. I mean, there's something to be said for that. There's something to be said for that.
As far, man, I've been thinking about this one because, in one hand, I do think that Orton deserves to win that championship.
Sure.
And go to Raw. And I think that makes sense. And I do think that Gunther going to SmackDown also makes sense.
That sets him up with Cody, which I think would be a really good match.
And that's my reasoning. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if they're going to let Gunther lose it yet.
He just won it. He just won at SummerSlam. So he just won it last month. Well, actually earlier this month. It'll be September.
Yeah.
When no, it'll still be August. It'll still be August. It'll be August 31st. So yeah, he lose the title a few weeks after winning it in a somewhat home crowd environment with it being in Germany. So you want to be Randy. I also want to be Randy, but who do you think will actually win the match?
But lately, man, like Clash, I mean, they screwed McIntyre in his home.
Yep.
So
There's
you know what?
I
think Randy's going to win.
Okay.
I think I'm going to go Randy and Randy on this one because I think they're going to set up Gunther for the SmackDown move.
All right, that works. I'm going to go with Gunther just because I think it's too soon. If this was 2-3 months, if this match was happening at Survivor Series, I would give it to Orton. But the other thing of it is they really are talking so much about how this would be 15 titles for him. The only thing that gives me a little bit of pause is if Orton does not beat Gunther. I'll say it this way. I think whoever loses this match, whether it's Orton or Gunther, that is who Cody wrestles at WrestleMania 41. Whoever loses this match, that person goes back to SmackDown. That's Cody's opponent at WrestleMania 41. So you can do the legacy angle with Orton, or everything about Gunther being unfathomable. He's unshakable. Those chops, all the things, and the way Cody can sell. I think that builds to WrestleMania 41. All right. Next up is the WWE Undisputed Championship match. Cody versus our boy Kevin Owens. Or Owen, actually. So who do you think will win the match? Cody or Kevin Owens? I'm sorry, I keep saying it backwards. Yeah. Who do you want to win the match? KO or Cody?
It's gonna be Cody and Cody on this one.
Okay. Fair.
I think it's gonna be a good match. They're kind of making it seem on SmackDown that KO was gonna turn on him.
Yeah.
By the way, I know we were chatting a little bit during SmackDown.
Yeah.
Did you know what part I was talking about?
Oh shoot! Remind me. I don't remember right now.
I think it was in one of the girls' matches, I think. But then we'll get there. Now I can't even think of it. But it's Cody.
I agree, Cody.
Do you think Owen? Do you think KO is going to make a heel turn on this?
I think because Cody is channeling a lot of Dusty, and a lot of things what Dusty would do. Similar, and Hogan did this as well. Is the way they would build for future competitors, they would get screwed over. Like they would win the match, or if they weren't champion, they would lose the match, but they would have friends that would turn. So Hulk Hogan's the best example. We're talking people like Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff. We're talking Andre the Giant. We're talking Tugboat. We're talking all of these people that were Hogan's friends that turned heel on him to build for future matches. I could see either K, because they did such a great job of building that trio of Cody, KO, and Randy Orton. One of them, if not both of them, turning on Cody. I think it'll probably be more. Randy than KO, but the fans so want to root for Randy. I don't know if that'll work, turn him heel.
Yeah.
But they could talk about how, and I think KO they have a more logical pathway. 2 years ago at WrestleMania, he won a tag belt with Sammy. He lost to in the U.S. title match with triple threat with him, Randy against Logan Paul. He's lost a lot of matches on SmackDown. They did a little video package of him turning on people. Like, he's been a babyface for a long time. It might be time to pull that trigger. And I think those two, and maybe it's both. But it would not shock me, maybe not at the Bash of Berlin, but maybe the following SmackDown. We see, similar to what AJ did, we see him turn on Cody to again maybe build to a future match. Because again, there's a lot of talent between here and Summer. Here and I'll get the pay-per-view right in a minute. Here and the Royal Rumble, and setting who hit, because I think he's going to definitely hold the title at least until WrestleMania. So they're setting up who he'll face at WrestleMania, probably either from the Royal Rumble or the Elimination Chamber. You got quite a few pay-per-views between now and then, so you got to have folks in the feud with. So I think KO turning heel or at least having something to get a rematch is what we'll see. All right. Now we've got my new favorite duo in wrestling, the Terror Twins. So Damian Priest and our girl Rhea Ripley again versus Dirty Dom Mysterio and our other girl, Liv Morgan. By the way, I don't know if you caught, but on SmackDown, give it up for Min Chin. Min Chin is just,
yes,
sir. Her and Tiffany Stratton. Yes,
yeah.
sir. Yeah. Again, whoever does the wardrobe for the and Bailey's all right, back to this. So what happens in the ring is you got the Terror Twins versus Dirty Dom and Dirty Dom and Liv Morgan representing the Judgment Day. It's a mixed tag team match, not an intergender tag team match. So the difference, what that means is Dom will wrestle Damian Priest. If he tags in, if either one of the men tag in one of the women, then both women get in. That's how that works. So are you seeing this as the Judgment Day winning, or who do you want to win? The Judgment Day or the Terror Twins? Who do you want to win?
I want the Terror Twins to win. Definitely.
Who do you think will win?
I think it's going to be Dom and Liv.
I agree.
I don't think they're done terrorizing the Terror Twins.
I agree. Yeah. Also, remember that there are no matches involving Finn, JD, or Carlito on this card. So the other three members of the Judgment Day don't have matches, but I bet you they will be in Germany. So it would not shock me that the Judgment Day, and it also furthers the storyline for the heels to get over, for them to dominate, Rhea dominating Liv, DP dominating Dom. But at some point, the win goes to the Judgment Day, which again, they probably, and it wouldn't hurt since we saw Rhea lose to Liv at SummerSlam. If at this one, Dominic somehow pins Damian Priest by hook or by crook, and that sets up again that next one there. All right, so we're in line there. Go ahead, sir.
Do you think that the Terror Twins are going to have an ally? Do you think that's possible, or do you think that they're going to keep them as the two?
I think they'll keep them as the two, the Terror Twins. What I really hope they do not do is bring anything romantic between Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley.
They're brothers.
Thank you. I really hope they keep it there.
Yeah.
What may happen at some point is if we get that tag team that's going to face off against Finn and JD. We've not seen them defend those belts in a hot minute. If we see maybe what the Terror Twins do is cost JD and Finn, who are the current WWE tag team, the World Tag Team Champions, the tag titles. Now, right now, there's not a team really on the periphery right now. Unfortunately, I think we've seen where Awesome Truth is going, unfortunately. And again, R-Truth is still, I think, our favorite. R-Truth is probably our podcast favorite wrestler. So, do we see that as, I don't know, AOP? It's people that can need the belts will be AOP. They got to give them something to make the team seem legit.
Or break them up.
Or break them up, which I don't think they're going to break them up, but at some point they got to do something. By the way, we talked about it. We can see the right on the wall that maybe we're seeing an Austin's Truth split with Miz turning heel because he's a better heel than Babyface. But what are your thoughts on? Are we gonna see the actual breakup of the New Day? I mean,
I think
Big E's gone at this point. I think he's retired. And by the way, happy retirement. Enjoy your time doing the panels. I think he does well there. Do you think we see Xavier Woods and Kofi actually split and Woods join the Final Testament?
I do. Only because they keep on bringing it up, like how long they've been a group. Like it's not like they keep it like they've been together for years. So it's
years.
And so I'm a big fan of Xavier Woods with a beard. Xavier Woods without a beard is
the baby face isn't working for at all.
No.
The baby face on the baby face isn't working at all. Yeah.
Correct. Yes. But I am a big fan of Xavier Woods. I'm a bigger fan of Kofi Kingston. I think they're one of the best tag teams in WWE.
They'll definitely be in the Hall of Fame. They deserve it, and they can totally tell the story of, when you look at the resume of both Kofi Kingston and Big E, beyond the tag belts, they both have held multiple singles titles, including being world champions. Woods has never held a singles champion. He was king of the ring a couple years ago. But that was also during COVID. Wasn't quite determined. Didn't have the luster that it has now. They could really play under that as being a frustration of that. And, who knows, especially if Big E could take a little bit of physical contact, having Big E come out to try and make things better and attack safely, attacking Big E, and then joining the Final Testament and giving them something that group again needs, because it's dying on the vine really slowly right now. So we definitely need something there. So our next match on the card, though, is a strap match. Going back again to the NWA WCW days of the strap match, you've got CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. So keeping in mind that Punk lost to McIntyre at SummerSlam, who do you want to win the match? Again, a strap match. And if you don't know what a strap match is, basically you touch all four corners, and that's how you win the match. Do you think it goes to Punk? Who do you want to win, Punk or Drew McIntyre?
Punk.
Who do you think will win, Punk or McIntyre?
I've been thinking about this one a lot, and I've been going back and forth because, in one hand, Punk needs a win against McIntyre.
Yep. Punk has not won a match, at least a televised. Yeah. Punk has not won a televised match since coming back to the WWE.
Yeah, so I think, man, I'm gonna put my chips on Punk on this one. I think he's gonna win.
Yep, I agree. I've said before, because they keep talking about the PLE in Atlanta calling it bad blood. I've told before, I think this feud between Punk and McIntyre ends with a Hell in a Cell match. So I think if you've got Punk that lost at SummerSlam, he beats. By the way, I'm a big fan of strap matches. Generally, the babyface wins in a strap match. So if Punk, because you can dominate an opponent physically in a strap match, but get quote unquote outsmarted because it's just touching the four corners. So you can beat the hell out of your opponent but still lose the match in a strap match. I think that's how they're gonna book Punk and McIntyre. So then kind of the rubber match to end it off, I think, will be a Bad Blood. And I keep saying, I think it can be and should be a Hell in a Cell. So we're relying with that. So far, the only match we've been different on is the world title match. You have Gunther winning. I have Gunther winning. You have Randy winning. So then the final match, which is probably going to be the first match of the card, but the last match they have listed, is for the tag title, the women's tag titles. The Unholy Alliance of Alba Fire and Isla Dawn defending against Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill, the former champs. They lost in a triple threat. So they actually weren't involved in the pinfall, but they're going for those belts. Who do you think will win? Dawn and Fire or Bianca and Jade? And then who do you want to win? Dawn and Fire or Bianca and Jade?
I think Dawn and Fire is going to win.
Okay.
But I want Jade and Bianca to win.
Okay. And I'm going to tell you, I think, let me get it straight. You think who will win will be, you think the champs retain, right?
No, well, yeah, I think the champs are going to
Okay.
retain. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
But I want
So,
the other way.
yep. So I will say I think, and what I want is for Bianca and Jade to win the match, but via disqualification. So that way the champions keep the current titles. Bianca and Jade, let's be honest, you can read the writing on the wall.
Yeah.
Those two are set up for a match at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Now, what's up to grab who turns heel? I think Bianca turns heel. She's been a heel before. She's also a much better talker than Jade. Heels need to be able to talk if they don't have a manager. So I think with Jade, because of her physicality, she is more a natural fit for the babyface position. She can play off of a heel. So I think that's what we eventually see is Bianca turning heel
and the
on
push.
Jade. Yeah, and the setup for WrestleMania 41.
Yeah, they're pushing Jade so much.
Yes, yeah.
Right now,
and I think you can get that maybe some of that jealousy, and we'll get at some point probably Bianca turning on Jade that builds to Bianca and actually Naomi with a couple of matches probably on SmackDown to build her heel character before we get it back to Jade. And again, I think we get it at WrestleMania 1. So I don't think we're going to see the split coming anytime soon. Probably the split doesn't happen till WrestleMania. Till
Royal Rumble
to build for WrestleMania. But I think what we have here is that DQ match. So they win the title, they win the match, not the titles. You keep the titles on the Unholy Union, and then they go there. So, all right. So I've got us both down here. And again, the only Fire and Dawn versus the DQ, we're still going to have to say that we had a champs retaining.
Yeah.
Both have CM Punk, both have Judgment Day, both have Cody. And then really on the match that we have a true difference of is I have Gunther retaining of Randy winning. And honestly, I'd be okay with either one of those because I think Randy's been back. Randy's super old with the fans. So I think him winning. I mean, they sing his song. He's going to be really loving life right now. So if Randy Orton comes out with a 15-time championship, good on him. All right, my friend.
Now, didn't Braun Breakers do an open challenge for Fashion Berlin as well?
Oh, he did. So who do you see taking on Breaker? Now, I think we'll be both fair to say it is not going to be Sami Zayn.
Correct. I think it's going to be Finn Balor.
You think Finn? Okay. I think Braun Strowman.
Ooh, crap. I like that way more.
Yeah, Braun on Braun, right? I think have the
R-Truth's got to be right somehow.
Yeah, and then the other thing is if Braun Strowman is fighting Braun Breaker, then that also opens the door for Big Bronson Reed to interfere.
Ooh.
And not only that does two things. Number one, he can set his claim for the Intercontinental, because let's be real, I think Braun Breaker is going to be a babyface. The spear, the way he does it, always gets over with fans. So at some point, that's going to make him a babyface. Just the fact he does that killer ass spear. But while they're still figuring that out, while letting the fans kind of wrap their heads around him as a babyface, I think what's going to happen is you have Braun Strowman fighting Braun Breaker, spelled differently. You get Big Bronson to interfere. That leads potentially either to a triple threat match at Survivor Series or Bad Blood. I forget which one comes first. Or that then gets the gets the Strowman Reed match again. Some additional heat there to grow that match. But I love what they're doing with the mid card. Also, the mid card on SmackDown. We're seeing them doing things with Carmelo Hayes and Andrade and Santos Escobar for that U.S. title feud with our boy LA Knight. So again, just want to give flowers to Triple H and the entire booking team over at WWE. You're really doing some really good work. And in the words of our boy LA Knight, yeah, okay.
Now we didn't hear anything from the Bloodline or Wyatt 6. I mean, there's still some good stuff happening there. So more to come on that.
The fact that there's so many other big name things that aren't even included in this PLE shows you again what the good job that the WWE is doing. They're not even leading with their hottest storylines for that. So I completely agree with you, man. So we'll see. Minimally, let's at least get so there's no American made on the card, so maybe not a Y6, But do we get Solo Sokoa just showing up and cutting a promo? That by itself would be powerful. I know Germany's a long ass flight, but maybe getting this bloodline just to keep that momentum going. Go ahead, my friend.
Man, Maxine Dupree looked really good on
Dupree. Okay. I love me some Maxine, but I gotta be honest with you. You know who wins for me? Chelsea Green. Ivy.
Agree, man.
Ivy Nile ain't bad, my bro, but Chelsea Green
is a sleeper. Like, they are not using Piper Niven and Chelsea Green.
But I think we're gonna get there, and I don't know if they are a real couple, but if you follow the WWE social, Damian Priest and Kaden, yes,
right.
There is so much like, and again, like you probably like, are they a couple? Like they just even if they're not, and not that they have to be, but their content is so damn funny.
Oh, great!
And he's just 100%. Stoic, like I'm not gonna fist, I'm not gonna and then he just half-ass goes like.
Yeah,
it's great. It's great. By the way, did you know that before Ricochet dated Samantha Irvin, the commentator for Raw, I'm not commenting, but the ring announcer for Raw, he actually dated Katana Chance, Kaden Carter's tag partner. They were like engaged.
Ooh.
She actually comes from American Ninja Warrior. She
was the first woman to climb the wall.
Yeah, they were. And by the way, give it up for Jesse Graff. That's just thank you, Jesse. I don't care if you ever make another brother in life. Yes, sir. And before we go too creepy, all right, my friend. So you want to fix the Crow? I'm not the Crow. You want to fix the Acolyte?
I would love to fix the Acolyte, man, because we found out that the Acolyte, as surprise to absolutely no one, the Acolyte was canceled on Disney Plus.
To be fair, it got a lot of hate. I don't think it was necessary because I heard it being called like the Wokalite and all these things. Like, it got a lot of hate that was not deserved. I mean, there were definitely flaws in the show, and I'm actually okay with them canceling the show. But if they're canceled due to social media pressure, people not liking the star goes by uses they them pronouns or anything like that, stop it. If you're gonna cancel because it wasn't a good show, which it wasn't. That to me makes all the sense in the world. So let's do it, my friend.
Yeah, man, I'm with you there, dude. Just put out good content. Again, just call us. We'll let you know what our thoughts are. I feel we're pretty.
I think just because I have like 5 bullet points on things they can do to fix it. I think between the two of us, we'll honestly make it 100% better show. I really feel confident in that.
So in my opinion, they went wrong when they announced it being the Acolyte and then it not being about the Sith. It was not about the Sith. They handed Leslie Headland the keys. She could have told the stories that she could have been as influential to Star Wars as George Lucas was.
Leslie Headland is also a queer woman, and that's fine, or a queer non-binary individual. It could have, and I think there were aspects that were brought into it, which a lot of people hate it, which just boggles my mind. So again, you're okay with little green elves and the Force, but it's not okay with people having different pronouns.
Right. I mean, like, guys, it's 2024. Get over yourselves.
Push it. Yeah, let's move it forward.
I mean, like, I don't care if you're gay, trans, whatever.
Yes.
If I can hold a conversation with you about Star Wars, now don't come at me talking football because I'm not going to lose interest. I don't want.
You can talk to me about the football. I got y'all. I'm the football member of the team, so come at me for that one. But go ahead.
But if you got some big brother cred, we're in.
Yes, sir.
The show. And by the way, Russian Dolls. I don't know if you watched Russian Dolls.
I have.
Is fantastic. Leslie Headland can knock a show out of the park.
Sir.
100%. Now, with that being said, she should have been telling the secrets of the Sith. Right. That's what the entire show should have been about.
That's what they made us believe, and that we did not get that. So that is, I feel you.
May, 100 or May, absolutely. Twins, separated at birth, one raised to be a Sith, one raised to be a Jedi. Cool. We can even go with that because that's kind of interesting, I guess. But we don't need a lot of the Jedi. Osha should have been just an afterthought. They should have focused on May. And it should have been about May trying to become, she's one of several acolytes,
Mm-hmm.
all trying to become
Yes.
the Sith apprentice
They
to the master.
spent since the 70s telling us the Jedi story.
Yeah.
Tell us the Sith story. That's exact. They should have told us Star Wars, but the other side of the Force. So
Right.
give me a Sith Padawan and tell the story from that angle. That's all they had to do.
Mhm.
And you have gotten us. And of course, you only get so far in 6 or 8. I think it was 8 episodes. But that again tells that untold. That's what it should have been. The untold story of Star Wars. That's what this is. We hear everything from the Jedi light side of the Force perspective. The fact that Darth Vader is always either 1 or 2 in popularity with Star Wars characters means that there's an interest in the Sith. All right. Obviously Vader's flipping cool, right?
Yeah.
But beyond that, like there's an interest in this. Okay. Ben Solo was much more interesting as a Sith Lord than as, oh yeah, I killed my father. I'm saying, like, give us that. Darth Sidious, all these characters, but they tend to be one-off characters. If you don't do all the additional canon reading, you do way more than me. Give us the show that focuses on that. That's what we want. But I'll let you continue, my friend.
Yeah, and here's the thing. You could still sprinkle Jedi in, but I wanted it few and far between. I want one episode in Coruscant where an acolyte has to infiltrate the Jedi temple to get something out of the archives.
Give me a Jedi that's conflicted.
Yeah.
And then you come back to that in the next season.
Yeah.
Give me a Jedi that captures. Give me that Jedi that captures or has the opportunity to capture that Sith that's invading and lets them go.
Yes.
So you show me the Jedi are not infallible.
And
that's what we needed. That we just sprinkle. Just a sprinkle.
And that's where Osha and May meet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Osha is the Jedi that catches May. Didn't even know she had a twin because they were separated at birth or before when she was really young. And that's where they meet for the first time. They, get rid of the dyad. We don't care. I mean, do I think it's a big deal that they were created out of the Force? Not really. Do I think it's hard? Do I think it tarnishes Anakin? No, I don't.
I don't really feel it tarnishes Anakin, but also you have to such a singular. Okay, in a world that you and I live in the U.S., so we have such Judeo-Christian backgrounds that the idea of a virgin birth, not who the dad is type deal, like that has greater ramifications to us as a culture. So having that be very specific to Star Wars in Anakin's progeny makes sense. But when you add in the twins, you lose a bit of that. I think you could have done that with cloning. Like there's ways to introduce one who are two, a variety of ways to lean more on the science and that's what Star Wars at its best as well. It intermixes science and religion. It really does.
Yeah.
They could have played with that differently than it feeling like you're taking things that are very specific to Star Wars canon and giving us a less than version of it. Okay.
Yeah.
I want the Crow to be equal to the original Crow. I don't need City of Angels. Like that was nice, but right. I feel you. Okay, go ahead.
And just like if I was to do a Crow TV show, every season would be one Crow. Finishes the thing, moves on, and then you get.
By the way, just because it made me think of it, you know what? Who we really need to bring? If they're going to bring any series back, and I want this to be not Jessica Alba. His first name is still Jessica. Justin Timberlake's wife. I cannot think of her name right now. But I can see her. Jessica Biel. I can see her visually. I want a new reimagined version of Witchblade, and I want Jessica Biel as that character.
Dude!
I want Jessica Biel as that character.
You just won the. I mean, granted, you won in the intro, but you just won the episode.
Give us Witchblade. Witchblade. Had Yancey not had a lot of legal issues, but Witchblade is totally, and that's a great one to bring back think about Skarsgård. Skarsgård to play Eric in True Blood. Bring him into that. Bring him into that. Okay, but let's go back to the Acolyte. I'm sorry if you're talking like we need Witchblade again. All right, my friend.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. And the entire show is about some Jedi starting to get too close, and the Sith Master, which is
basically being child. And by the way, the first one was them basically being child traffickers.
Right. And there's issues with that, 100%.
There's major issues.
I mean, you know,
Saul may be the single creepiest character ever in Star Wars canon.
Yeah.
Ever in Star Wars canon. Okay. Yeah. We're talking about the cyborg dude who was burned alive by his baby mama, basically. And that still is less creepy than Saul. Like, yeah. Yeah.
And he was one of the best actors in the show.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh God. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so Manny Jacinto as the Phantom Stranger.
Yes, sir.
He's the master. He is.
Yes, sir.
He is the Jedi. He is a Sith apprentice.
Yes.
Training an Acolyte to become his apprentice to him being a master, so he can assassinate his master.
Bro, when I get to my fan cast, dude, we are so in line with this. I love this.
Right, and dude, all of this could be told through 8 episodes, and you have a couple Jedi that are getting a little bit too close because they're looking for something. They're looking for Sith artifacts from the time of Bane and the time of Revan, so you can introduce them how you want to,
sir.
And then you are cementing them in your canon,
sir.
The Sith canon,
sir. All right. Okay, if it's okay, I want to jump into Michael. We're in so many of the same places, bro. So I'm just going to go bit by bit. So number one, I'm going to say, so first off, the most important thing to do is keep Manny Jacinto as Quimir / the Stranger.
Yes.
Okay. And I swear to you, these are things I had listed. I also say just for a wink, wink, nudge to fandom, at some point, he talks about the dark side is the good place. Like just somewhere in there, somewhere in there, just drop that line, something like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Secondly, remove the twins. Okay.
Yeah.
May and Osha, it just wasn't. Again, season 2, cool. Season 1, it was too much. Little to no Jedi was the other thing I wrote. Focus on the inequities or the inequalities of the Republic. You gotta give the Sith a reason. Again, 30 plus since the 70s, so 40, 50 plus years, well, 40 plus years, not quite 50 years.
Yeah.
Of Star Wars has been how the Jedis are perfect. And we need to get on board with the Jedi. If you're gonna say the Sith are not just the big bad we need to vanquish, you gotta give them a reason. Think about Thanos. Think about the Joaquin Phoenix version of Joker. These are villains that resonated with the fans because their motivations made sense. Their actions were too far, but the motivations made sense. So I couldn't just dismiss you as a villain, right? So you need, if you're gonna have an antagonist that resonates, you gotta give fans a reason to go, okay, I get it. Go back to Buffy the Vampire Slayer. When the story arc they did was Spike over that series that went into Angel. He went from being this tortured soul, well, not even tortured, he was just this evil vampire that he's killing for no reason. They gave him context, they gave him focus, they gave his character depth over Buffy that went into Angel, that by the end of Angel, he's a completely sympathetic character. You don't have to make him a babyface. You don't have to make him the protagonist, but you got to give him some depth. All right.
So, question for you: do you think he looks like Billy Idol?
That's the point. That's the point. He's supposed to look like Billy Idol. That's the point. Yeah, absolutely. That's the point.
Money. You got rock back straight to the love.
Yeah. So when he goes from the tortured poet where he had the dark hair to more of the Idol-esque, totally what's the pull from Billy Idol. And then, by the way, he was so great in the first couple seasons of it was on Hulu. I'm sure you can find it on Disney Plus now. Crap, not Cloak and Dagger, but the other one, the The
What was the
Runaways.
show?
He was so
Oh,
no, he was so good on The Runaways.
dude,
He
that was
was
a good
so
show.
good on the first 2 seasons were excellent. Season 3, they could have kept it in the pocket.
Oh,
But
I
again,
didn't
I think that hit around again COVID. All right. So then here's what I have here, and I know you are more the Star Wars person I do, but here goes. So remember, I said same deal. It needs to be an 8-episode arc. I swear to you, I wrote this earlier. But then this is what I think. I took the Code of the Sith. And if you take this Code of the Sith, you basically build 2 episodes per stanza of Code of the Sith. So the first stanza, peace is a lie, there's only passion. 2 episodes. Second stanza, through passion I gain strength. Episodes 3 and 4. Episodes 5 and 6, through power I gain victory. And then, I'm sorry, I lied to you. It's episodes 5 and 6 will be through strength I gain power. 7 and 8 will be through power I gain victory. And you have it at the opening of every episode.
Ooh, I love that.
And then the last line of season 1 is Manager Cinto as Quaimir, as the stranger, as he has developed his Sith powers. He goes, through victory, my chains are broken. That's the last line of the Code of the Sith. So that is the last line of season 1, episode 8 of the new Acolyte. Is he goes, fade to black, nothing. Is as he is standing over a Jedi, as he is holding the mask, as he's got the red saber, he got all these things, he goes, through victory, my chains are broken, fade to black. And that's the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you as a fan, I have geeked through, I've sold my seat. I'm like, give me season 2 right now.
Yeah.
And everything about this is about Manager Cinto, the Quaimir character, and you have now taken it from Quaimir, again, the apothecary, all the dude, like his day job, quote unquote, him embracing, and you give him all the conflicts. Again, you take it as Anakin is becoming Vader, right? He's conflicted. He's got to apply Order 66. He doesn't want to do it. He wants to save the love of his life. Give Quaimir something to lose, and he loses it, and it's somehow taken from him by the Jedi, by the laws of Jedi life, by being this stoic monk. Does not work. It is not realistic. Give him that where he makes the hard choice, but the inevitable choice, because in his frame of vision, it makes sense. And at that point, you've created a villain, but a villain that we can find some level of identification with. And then you can run season 2. Then you can bring in the twins. But they tried giving us too much, too fast, and not enough exposition. We talked. I think it was the first 3 or 4 seasons. Almost half. It was the halfway point of the first season. We're like, nothing's happened. We're at half the season. Nothing has happened. And then they tried to cram everything in, and it led to logic flaws. It led to inconsistencies. It led to rush scenes. It led to all because they just didn't give themselves enough runway to tell a good story. So they focus on, again, I'm going to give you my 5 real quick. Keep the focus on Manager Cinto as the stranger / Quaimir. Remove the twins. Have very little Jedi. If you're going to do a flashback, that's what the Jedi wronged him, and quick. Not the entire damn episode. Give us 5 minutes. The Jedi did him wrong this way. Focus on the negatives of the Republic. And that's one thing that I actually did enjoy about the prequel 3, episodes 1 through 3. They talked about in depth of how the Republic was broken. So now we go to the old Republic. Give us that.
Yeah.
And give us the motives. And the motives really being, give us those things that tie in that episode arc. So again, pieces alive, there's only past. We start with a very optimistic, hopeful Quaimir character, and through the first 2 episodes, he realizes that, again, through those inequities, it's not right. It's great to be a Jedi. I'm not a Jedi. Through passion, I gain strength. He finds something that resonates him but doesn't fit for the Jedi life. That gives us episodes 3 and 4. Through strength, I gain power. So he begins to feel to pull the dark side, starts to make those dark side decisions. Episode 6, 5 and 6, and through 7 and 8, through power I gain victory. When he makes that ultimate break with the Jedi, he embraces the dark. He becomes a Sith Lord. And again, his tagline at the end of the 8th episode is, through victory, my chains are broken. And maybe give him a physical chain he breaks. Okay, something that you can go like that reinforces that chain is broken. If they do that, then you've given us a hell of an episode. Excuse me, season 1, episodes 1 through 8, and we're all chef kissing it. So before I finish this up, Disney Plus, George Lucas, Star Wars, if you're listening, and we know you are, holla at your boys. We will nerd positive the hell out of this, and we'll get you back on track, sir.
Yes.
All right,
yes.
bro.
All right, dude. I think we nailed the topics. Great job, by the way.
I'm proud of it, man.
Absolutely. I think. Do you have an honest ad?
I do got an honest ad. Are you ready for it, my friend?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right, this is gonna be a short one, but here it is. So I was thinking, as much as fun as we have on this, we're both proud dads. So let's do an honest ad on dad jokes. Here we go.
Yes.
Knock, knock. Who's there? The type of joke where nobody cares. Full of puns, sarcasm, and wit. Dad jokes are just too legit.
To quit.
Yes, sir. Stories go on with no end in sight. Very little plot. It may go left. It may go right. Context is lost. Lacks all reason. There are dad jokes for all 4 seasons. Retell at your own risk, and you'll probably get a groaner, just like when your dad over 40, when you get an unexpected, and that is the honest ad for dad jokes, my friend.
Well done, Brian. Excellent job.
I'm proud of myself.
All right. Do you want to do your same plot?
Sure. All right. So again, this is what I'm sure you'll get, but I just wrote something I thought was kind of fun. So when you're ready, again, for folks that are uninitiated, the same plot, new characters, as I take a movie that Bradley and I are both very familiar with, I use basically references from other movies starring the same actors, but in other characters they have played, other films they've been in, and see if Bradley can figure out the movie that I'm talking about. So when you're ready, my friend, I'm here. And I made this one also rhyme, similar to honest ad fashion. So when you're ready, here we go.
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Okay. Is it a bird, man, a vulture, or a bat? Repeat its name enough, and you will find out that a girl is interrupted, but she is not home alone. The Shadow and his wife were in leagues of their own. We had car crashes and really big worms. Even calypso music had a turn. Instructions were useless, and people played it by heart. The creepiest thing were the horrible works of art. While the cast was talented and quite amazing, it could have benefited from either Bruce Willis or Patrick Swayze.
Oh. Okay. Give it to me one more time.
Absolutely. I give a little slower this time. Is it a bird, man, a vulture, or a bat? Repeat its name enough, and you will find out about that. A girl is interrupted, but she is not left alone. The Shadow and his wife were in leagues of their own. We had car crashes and really big worms. Even calypso music had a turn. Instructions were useless, and people played it by heart. The creepiest thing were the horrible works of art. While the cast was talented and quite amazing, it could have benefited from either Bruce Willis or Patrick Swayze.
That would be Beetlejuice.
All
well
right, my friend. I'm going to pack it for the audience. So, is it a bird, man, a vulture, or a bat? And I could have put in Batman. These are characters played by one Michael Keaton, who, by the way, I'm sure I've shared this in the podcast before. The reason that Michael Keaton is named Michael Keaton is he was a production assistant on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, and there was already so Michael Keaton's real name is Michael Douglas, and there already was a Michael Douglas in the Screen Actors Guild, so he couldn't use his real name, or that would be confusing at least. So Mr. Rogers, Fred Rogers, goes, "You remind me of Buster Keaton. Why don't you go in as Michael Keaton?" So Mr. Rogers named Michael Keaton Michael Keaton. Repeat his name enough 3 times, you'll find out about that. Again, if you say Beetlejuice 3 times, he comes to visit you. Our Girl Interrupted, a famous movie star by Winona Ryder, who was my crush as a kid. Her as Delia Deetz. She is not left home alone. Catherine O'Hara played the mom in Home Alone. The Shadow, a role played by Alec Baldwin. A League of Their Own, a movie referencing with Gina Davis. We had Car Crash. That's asking how the Gina Davis and Alec Baldwin characters die, and there's a big thing with the earthworms when they're stuck in the kind of limbo area. Calypso music, Harry Belafonte famously had a couple songs, primarily Deo in the show. The instructions were useless, such as they talk about the book that are given had reads like Starstruck was not very useful. People played it by heart. The creepiest thing with a horrible works of art. The Catherine O'Hara, who can dance, if you watch that movie, who can really dance. But her character was a struggling artist who made these horrible works of art, and the cast was technically quite amazing. It could have been benefit by 2 other actors that played famous roles as ghosts, Bruce Willis and one Patrick Swayze. So that is the new same plot, new characters for Beetlejuice. And I will not say it 2 more times, but I'll need to kind of smoke. All right, my friend.
All right, so I have a constellation for you, and I've been looking forward to this.
Let's hit it, my friend.
So we're gonna go all in on the Crow.
Oh, good job there. Okay. I've not seen the Crow in a hot minute. But you say all in on the Crow, we're talking the original or which one?
Oh, you'll see.
Okay.
Both. I'm gonna have you connect Bill Skarsgård's Eric Draven to Brandon Lee. Bill Skarsgård to Brandon Lee, and I did it in 3.
Oh wow!
I did it in 3 stars.
That's gonna be tough because Brandon Lee was probably well deceased before Skarsgård did anything, so it's gonna be very. So I'm gonna So Lee's gonna be where I have to start because he had a much smaller filmography. Again, unfortunately and tragically died during the filming of the original Crow. And if you don't know Brandon Lee, he is the son of Bruce Lee, who also died tragically during the filming of a movie. Okay, so let me think about this. So Brandon Lee to Skarsgård, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
And remind me which Skarsgård is it? It's not Skellen, it's Bill, correct? Okay.
Yep,
all right.
Bill.
Okay, so let me think a little bit about this. Okay. So question. Are there any individuals in the lead in the 90s version of The Crow? Are there any actors or characters? Well, it would be the actors. Forget the characters change. Are there any actors that are in the Brandon Lee Crow that are also in the Bill Skarsgård Crow?
Not that I noticed.
Okay.
And again, I will tell you, I did not use the Crow in this.
You didn't use the Crow?
I did not use either versions of the Crow.
Gosh. Okay. That's gonna be tough then. Okay. So, because that's totally where I was going with who was in the Crow.
I can see a way, I believe, through the Crow.
Okay. So my head goes, I'm probably going, low-hanging fruit. My head goes Brandon Lee to Ernie Hudson, just because that's the other big name actor I figure with the largest filmography when we go there. Okay. So how many did you do it in?
3.
You did it in 3. Okay. If I go Brandon Lee to Ernie Hudson. That's one. So I need so basically I need one move from Ernie Hudson to Bill Skarsgård. Okay. Oh man, this is tough. You may uh you may have this one on me, man, because I'm trying to think. Give me just a second longer,
You
but
got it. You got it, man.
oh man, I'm working hard on this one, and I'm going to put, like I said, it may be just that I don't know the filmographies of Bill Skarsgård enough, because I'm really trying to find the between him and Hudson, but that may not even be the best way of doing this.
You gonna call it?
Give me like another couple seconds, but I think I might have to call it, man, because cause I'm not even finding it in 3, much less 4 or 5. Hang on.
So I will say that I
Yeah.
did not use Ernie Hudson.
Okay. I'm gonna call it, my friend. I'm gonna call. I'm surrendering and doing it to you, my friend. All right. Tell me how you got there.
So I did go from Brandon Lee to Bill Skarsgård.
Okay.
Here's the way I did it.
Okay.
Originally, I was thinking, okay, yeah, I'm going to go through Ernie Hudson. But then I'm like, okay, what is similar to Brandon Lee, Bill Skarsgård movies, action movies? Ernie Hudson hasn't done a super ton of action movies. So I want to go to a co-star of Brandon Lee's that has done many, which Brandon Lee starred with, this is star one, starred with Dolph Lundgren in Showdown in Little Tokyo.
Never seen it, but you pulling brain. Okay.
So, and then I'm like, okay, so Dolph Lundgren, there's got to be a way. So then
there's literally dozens of movies at this point, right? Okay,
right. So then I'm thinking, okay, who are some common people that Bill Skarsgård was worked with?
Sure.
And my brain went to a movie which you'll get there in a second, and you're gonna know. So my second star is Dolph Lundgren starred with Keanu Reeves in Johnny Mnemonic.
Ah, he wasn't Johnny Mnemonic.
He wasn't Johnny Mnemonic.
Ah.
And then my third star is Keanu Reeves stars Bill Skarsgård
in John Wick.
In John Wick Chapter 4.
Yep. Excellent job. Excellent.
Thank you.
Excellent job,
buddy.
My friend. Excellent job, sir. All right, bro. Hey, who is your Better Than Us Human of the Week?
You know what? I gotta give this one to my kid. I gotta give this one to my kid Doze. All three of them, because they're all back in the swing of things, going to school. I got a senior in college out in Seattle. Kendall, love you. I got a freshman in high school with Anna. And I know how much pressure there could be with that whole, going into those new schools. So I know I've talked to her a few times. She's killing it. And then the third, I gotta say it for Leia. She's a 7th grader. Great attitude on things. She's got a great attitude on life.
Is killing it. Yes, sir.
So those are my Better Than Us Humans of the Week.
Well, I'm gonna also go to my kiddo. Brendan started his first big boy professional job this week. After this past Thursday, he is working at one of the local human service organizations. So, and has been getting a lot of hours in the first. In fact, he's at work right now. So very proud of you, buddy. Love you to death. So congrats again to, hey, all the kiddos. And we know that the kiddo success is done with dad, but also in spite of dad. So for all the kiddos we just mentioned, congratulations, your pops. Love you to death, and doing great things is coming to the future. So we're killing the dad game, including the dad jokes, my friend.
That's
all
right,
bro. Let's
All
put a
right.
pin in this episode, man. I think we killed it this week.
I think so. So if you want to find me, friend me, or follow me, you can do that on Facebook at Nerd Positive. On TikTok, you can go to Nerd Positive One, and check out my movie my work TikTok. I've been doing parodies of Office, and which have been super fun. I don't know if you've watched them all, Brian.
Yes. I've seen a few. I don't know if I caught them all, but dude, they're a good follow.
Thank you. And that is movies.bs. The BS stands for Brad and Summer, or several other things. You can go to Instagram at the Fandemic1. And if you feel there's more of a conversation, let us know. We want to talk to you about it. Let's do another episode. Brian, where can we find you?
As always, you can find me in the Book of Faces, Brian Stephen Dennis. Feel free to give me a like, give me a follow. Friend request, I always try and keep it weird and occasionally funny. And as always, sir, why don't we finish this up? Which I want to again thank all of you for joining us for what is the best part about my week, for catching the pandemic of the Nerd Positive podcast. So please remember to never say die, never give up, never surrender, and remember the Goonies never say die.
Friendship is like peeing on yourself. Everyone can see it, but only you get the warm feeling that it brings. If you think about it, every time you feel stupid, you just got a little smarter. Squirrels' cheeks are their nutsacks. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, folks.